Good evening and welcome to the June 2025 Council Public Planning Meeting. Mayor Foxton is currently at a graduation giving an address, so I am, as Deputy Mayor, chairing this meeting. Members of the public may watch and or participate in this open meeting using any of the following methods. Attend in person in the North Dumfries room at the North Dumfries Community Complex located at 2958 Greenfield Road. Attend electronically to observe the meeting or to speak to an item on the agenda by registering with the Clerk's Division. Watch the live stream by accessing the meeting on the Township's YouTube page. The live stream is for live viewing only and not for direct participation. Submit written comments to the Clerk's office in advance of the meeting. The correspondence is provided to the Mayor and Council prior to the meeting and will form part of the public record. I would like to now ask for the motion to approve the agenda from Councillor Rowland.
For myself, by Councilor Tilley, that council adopt June 17, 2025 council planning public meeting agenda as presented with the following addendum. And correspondence received for item 6.5.2, report number P 39/2025, minor variance application 24 Manley Street, file number 80-0825.
All approved. Motion carried. Okay, now for the Indigenous Territory acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land on which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievement and their contributions to our community. We offer this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples of Canada. So let's pause for a moment of reflection. Thank you. Do any members of council wish to disclose of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, let's go forward with item 6, Committee of Adjustment, and the motion to sit as Committee of Adjustment from Councillor Austin.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Rowland, that the council meeting adjourn at 6:02 p.m. to sit as committee adjustment for the purposes of holding public meetings pursuant to the provision of the Planning Act.
Motion carried. All right, and can I have approval of the agenda, please, from Councillor Tilley, or Scott Tilley, for now, and sits for Committee of Adjustment.
Moved by myself, second by Ron Roman, the committee adopt the June 17, 2025 Committee of Adjustment agenda as presented.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, do any members of the Committee of Adjustment wish to disclose a pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none. Move forward. All right, so we'll move on to 6.5, which is hearings and public meetings, minor variance and consent applications. 6.5.1, report number PD-38-2025, minor variance application for part lot 7, concession 7, North Dumfries, parts 1 through 4, 67R2, 683, ST 145505, North Dumfries, file number A0725. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of a decision. These individuals will be notified of the decision or the convening of future meetings on this application. There is a sign-on sheet on the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those who wish further notice related to this file. So Christina Blaznovich, planner, 1 GIS technician, will present this application. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, consultants. The following presentation is for minor variance application A07/25 for a vacant parcel located at the corner of Maple Manor Road and Cheese Factory Road. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of a proposal, to solicit comments and identify issues and matters to be assessed by staff. As mentioned, the property is located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Maple Manor Road and Cheese Factory Road and is currently vacant. The property is approximately 2.4 hectares in size with a lot frontage of 126 meters onto Cheese Factory Road and 262 meters onto Maple Manor Road. Surrounding land uses are agricultural. The property is zone 1 agriculture and designated agricultural and protected countryside in the township of Bishopland. The purpose of the minor variance application is to seek relief from the general zoning bylaw to permit a reduced minimum distance separation to facilitate the construction of a single detached dwelling on the vacant lot. A dairy barn situated on the adjacent parcel municipally addressed as 1498 Cheese Factory Road necessitates a minimum distance separation of 286 meters for the proposed dwelling. The majority of the subject property is regulated by the GRCA and includes floodplain at the rear. Due to these constraints, the dwelling is proposed to be closer to the road to avoid the floodplain and allow adequate space for the required septic system, placing it within the required minimum distance setback of 286 meters. The following minor variances are being requested by the owner. Section 6.10.2 establishes that in zone 1, the building line shall be 16 meters from any street line for a residential building. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a building line of 14 meters from Maple Manor Road for the proposed development. And section 6.29.1 establishes that no residential development located on a separate lot and permitted within a zone shall be erected or altered unless it complies with the minimum distance separation or MDS1. The required minimum distance setback is 286 meters. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a minimum distance separation of 273.26 meters, which is a reduction of 12.74 meters. The image on the screen is a site plan illustrating the proposed development. The blue line along the southern property boundary represents the floodplain. To the north of the subject property is 1498 Cheese Factory Road, which contains the livestock facility that generates the MDS1 setback. The red circle indicates the required MDS1 setback radius, with the center point representing the closest point of the livestock building. As you can see, the proposed development is just within the required MDS distance. This image is a view of the subject property from Maple Manor Road and the proposed location of the dwelling. Staff received a phone call from the owner of the farm located across the street from the subject property, which is the source of the MDS1 setback associated with this application. The owner advised that they are in the early stages of considering an expansion to their agricultural operation and are currently unsure how the proposed dwelling may impact their ability to meet future NDS2 requirements. They are not opposed to the proposed development, but are seeking clarification on how the situation would be addressed. Staff are currently reviewing the matter to determine how best to proceed in light of the potential future NDS2 implications. Agency correspondence, there have been no concerns received from commenting agencies at this time. Planning staff are awaiting a few final comments from a few remaining agencies. And staff recommend that all comments and correspondence received from members of the public and government agencies through the consultation process be returned to staff for a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter. Staff will be considering matters including all comments and correspondence received, as well as whether the development meets the criteria of the forecasts. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. I believe Chuck and Kathy Asmussen have registered to speak. If you can come up to the, are they here? Nice, excellent. If you can come up to the mic, you can move it up if necessary, but and just let us. Go ahead, you've got 5 minutes.
I don't know what I want to speak about.
You don't have to speak if you don't want.
Okay, there you go.
You don't have to if you don't have anything to say. I just have it down here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have it down here that you've registered, so.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. Just. I think it's closer to the. I've got nothing really.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Matthew Martin has registered to speak. Hopefully that's not a surprise. That's all right. And does anybody else in the public, any members of the public wish to comment on this application at this time?
We were just the farm next door, so. And
If you do, could you please come up to the mic, please, so we can. And kindly speak the name.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure, so I should, yeah. Can you hear me? That's fine. Okay. My name is Kelly Vaughn. I'm with my husband, Luke Dumfries, and his father, Don Dumfries. So we are the neighboring dairy farm to the adjacent property, and we had called in just inquiring about. We don't have any issues with having a new neighbor, but we are in the beginning stages of planning to expand our dairy operation. So we're just not sure how this minor variance might impact that. The DFO, or the Dairy Farmers of Ontario, are starting to change some of their density requirements for farms, and so we would not be in compliance if they increase that with our current facility, so we will need to expand our farm soon. We don't have any intentions of building it towards the house. It would be towards the north end of the property, but I think the regulations sort of begin at the point of the building where it is. It doesn't matter which direction we, but don't. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do any committee members wish to comment on this application at this time? Thank you, Councilor.
Just a question through the staff is, I understand that there's gonna be some information that's gonna need to be found out about this max minimum distance and requirements for building that. Is there any knowledge at this point that this would stop the doctors from being able to proceed, or is this something that would be needed to be found out before that could be found, information?
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Tilly. So any expansion of the livestock operation at the other at the Donkers farm will initiate. So this is MDS 1 that Chuck is going through. So that is basically kind of to establish the lot to be able to build within that, and then the Donkers would have to go through an MDS 2. And so that's done based on the number of livestock units they're gonna have and what they're doing with the nutrients from the facility. Because we already know that this dwelling is within the radius that's created through the MDS 1. The MDS 2 will require a setback to the nearest residence. So if this dwelling is permitted to be constructed within the already established radius based on the livestock units that they currently have without adding more, then at the time they want to expand, they will have to also go through a minor variance to be able to expand, understanding that they're going to impact the neighboring property because it becomes now closer to and the separation distance. So the measurement will become greater based on the number of livestock units that they're adding. Does that make sense? Okay.
Can I ask a question?
If you want to,
Oh, sorry.
I think this is now time for the council to just discuss for a moment. Thank you. I think Scott, did you have a follow-up? Sorry, Derek, in a second, but did you have a follow-up question?
I did, so my question through you to staff again would be, does that variance request go through again through the committee and is approved through the committee, or is there something through the livestock and the MDS 2 that would be something that we can speak to? Meaning that we couldn't help them to everybody to get along? Is that still possible to do that?
So through you, Chair, to Councillor Tilly, they would have to go through a variance. However, Dale McNeely has just asked, and I would ask the question to you, are you adding livestock units, or you're just going to expand the barn footprint to allow for the additional space required for the current existing livestock?
We would be expanding livestock because our daughters just started university it's a multi-generational farm. So in order to keep up with the times, we'll have to expand the number of units at some point. We're not trying to double the herd or anything, but we will be adding more.
So any expansion of the livestock units would increase the required setback. The MDS setbacks are based on the nutrients, the odor that they emit, right? And so we're trying to create that buffer between the residential and the livestock to then ensure that both parties are okay with what's transpiring on both sides.
Well, that's it.
Okay, so you agree with that, Derek, or you wanna interject for a moment, right, maybe Derek can interject for a moment,
Sure.
and go ahead.
So, so basically, some of these details will happen through the consultation process, obviously. But like we're here to deal with the MBS one, not the barn expansion. Like we have to discuss the barn expansion, correct, and work on that when they apply for that. I mean, we're dealing with this application right now, right?
Through you, Chair, to Councilor Austin, correct, we are dealing with the vacant lot that they're proposing to put the single detached dwelling on. But we do have to keep in mind that it is going to impact the existing established farm operation that's there.
So, and that will come out in the consultation process, because right now we're just at the consultation process, right?
Correct, but until we understand how many livestock units the Dumfries are proposing, it's hard for us. We can't really consult to say, oh, now you're gonna need, instead of 278 meters, you're now potentially going to need 500 meters. But I don't know that until, and so I don't know if at this point you kind of know how many livestock units that we can try and run it through AgriSpeed to see if we can craft something in the decision to make it so that we can kind of capture both at once.
If that was possible, we would certainly like come up with our plan quicker so that it could all be done together.
Okay, so I think that's something that we could consult
Happen
with.
again, if we have to apply for variance. You know, next year, same kind of thing.
Yeah, so staff would be more than willing to consult with Dockers to try and figure out if we can come up with something so that this variance approval could be crafted to capture their future build. So that we can, protect the farmer and protect the proposed applicant.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you. Thank you. That's fair enough. I just don't want the Asmussens to be sitting around waiting until some application comes in the future. I mean, I don't think they want to wait around to do what they want to do contingent of the neighboring farm. Like, I'm hoping that we can get some information that's not going to hold up the Asmussens from moving forward with their application.
Through you, Chair,
Like,
Councilor Austin.
timelines.
Absolutely, and so the pending the planners work on this should be able to come forward to the next meeting. I can work with the Dockers in the next few days. It's a matter of just plunking some numbers in based on what their previous numbers are, to see if we can come up with something that will capture their proposed addition to their current facility so that we are not impacting either party.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Do you still have questions?
Derek's question covered everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Were there any other questions and comments from council? All right, in that case, if I can get the motion from Darren Council, please.
Moved by myself, second by Scott Tilley, that PD report number 38-2025 be received. And that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for consideration in a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter.
All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, that's good. All right, moving on to 6.5.2, report number PD 39-2025, minor variance application for 24 Manley Street, file number A-08/25. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decision or the convening of future meetings on this application. There is a signing sheet on the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those that wish future further notice on related to this file. Christina Blaznovich, Planner 1, GIS Technician, will present this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Williams. The following presentations for minor variance application A-08/25 for the property located at 24 Main Street. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the proposal, to solicit comments, and identify issues or matters to be assessed by staff. The property is located north of the intersection of Manley Street and McDonald Street in the village of Ayr. Property consists of a two-story detached dwelling and accessory buildings. It's approximately 1,964 square meters in size, with a lot frontage of 22.8 meters onto Manley Street. Surrounding land uses are urban residential. The property is zoned Z4 urban residential and designated urban residential and ancillary in the township official plan. The purpose of the application is to facilitate the construction of a covered porch within the front yard of the subject property. The proposed covered porch structure will be attached to the front wall of the principal dwelling. Under the zoning bylaw, the covered porch is considered part of the main building due to its physical connection to the dwelling. The proposed covered porch will have a footprint of approximately 3.52 meters by 1.98 meters in size, with a total area of approximately 6.97 square meters, as illustrated in the image on the screen. The proposed covered porch will extend into the existing front yard setback. The following minor variance is being requested by the owner. Section 6.10.1 establishes a building line of 6.25 meters for the subject property. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a building line of 4.26 meters, which is a reduction of 1.98 meters. The image on the screen is a view of the subject property from Main Street. There was one neighboring resident that had provided comment. They have just expressed expressed support for the proposed application. There have been no concerns received from any commenting agencies at this time. The planning staff are currently waiting some final comments from a few of the remaining agencies. Staff recommends that all comments and correspondence received from the members of the public and government agencies through the consultation process be returned to staff for a future report to the committee on a disposition of this matter. Staff will be considering matters including all comments and correspondence received and whether the development meets the criteria of the four tests. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to comment on this application? Okay, do any members of the public wish to comment on this application? Do any committee members wish to comment on this application? Go ahead, Eric.
Thank you. Judging by the pictures, did they already start this porch and kind of went oops, or kind of looks that way?
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Ossner, yes, they were caught constructing without a building permit, so, and then upon review, unfortunately, it does, the current existing dwelling doesn't meet setback, so we can look to approach any further, hence, but the applicants were very willing to move forward with this application, to right the wrong, so.
Thank you. Was there any other questions or comments from committee? All right, then can I have the motion, please, Roger?
Moved by myself, by Councillor Ossner, that P report number 39-2025 be received, and all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for consideration and future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. All right, and 6.6 reports and recommendations, minor variance and consent applications. The 6.6.1 report number PD -40 2025 minor variance application for 1019 Alps Road, file number A/05/25. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the planned decision or the convening of future meetings on this application. There is a sign-up sheet on the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those that wish future notice related to this file. Michael Campus, Manager of Planning, will present this application.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The following presentation is for minor variance application A/05/25 for the property located at 1019 Alps Road. The purpose of this meeting is to advance a recommendation for the committee's consideration on the merits of the minor variance application. Property is located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Alps Road and Sprague's Road, with the city of Cambridge municipal boundary located approximately 330 meters to the northeast. Property consists of a one and a half story single detached dwelling on private services and two small accessory structures. Triangular shaped lot is approximately 0.5 hectares in size, with a lot frontage of approximately 93 meters along Alps Road and 149.4 meters along Sprague's Road. Property is zoned Z1 agricultural under the township zoning bylaw and is designated prime agricultural and designated countryside on map 7 of the township official plan. Surrounding land uses are primarily agricultural and aggregate related. The owner proposes to facilitate the construction of a new two-story detached garage on the property, which is proposed to be located between the street line and the established building line, which is the front yard. The proposed accessory building will consist of a 3-bay detached garage on the ground floor with a soft storage space on the second level. This accessory building will be approximately 14.17 meters by 7.62 meters in size, with an approximate total area of 108 square meters. A concept plan illustrating the proposed accessory building's location is shown on the slide in front of you today. The zoning bylaw prohibits buildings or structures from being located between the street line and the established building line. In this instance, the established building line or the front yard setback requirement is 10.72 meters, determined by the existing dwelling's position relative to the street line. As the plan on this slide indicates, the accessory building will be situated between the street line and the established building line, thus requiring relief from the zoning bylaw. The owner is requesting the following minor variances. Section 6.4.1 of general zoning bylaw, 68983 establishes that no accessory building may be erected between any building lines established by this bylaw. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit the proposed accessory building to be located in front of the principal dwelling within the established building line. Secondly, section 6.5.1 of the zoning bylaw speaks to prohibited obstructions, stating that no building or structure can be located or constructed between the street line and any building line established by this bylaw. The owner again seeks relief from this provision to permit the proposed accessory building to be located between the street line and the established building line. Finally, section 6.10.1 establishes that for buildings existing on the date of the passing of this bylaw, the building setback shall be a distance equal to the distance between the street line and the closest point of the existing building. The established building line in this case is 10.72 meters, determined by the location of the existing dwelling. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit for this proposed accessory building to have a reduced building line setback of 4.37 meters. On the left of the slide, you can see a view of the property from Alps Road. And the photo on the right of the slide provides a building elevation view of the existing dwelling and the proposed accessory building. There has been no correspondence received from any members of the public relating to this application. With respect to agency correspondence, the Township Fire Department, Region of Waterloo, Grand River Conservation Authority, and the Waterloo Catholic School Board have all stated that they have no comments or objections to the proposed application. The Township's Engineering and Public Works Department has no objections to the proposal. However, they have noted that an updated grading plan will be required for the area abutting the garage, which is to be submitted at the building permit stage. The Township's Building Department provided initial comments on this application prior to the May 27th public meeting, stating that the accessory structure cannot impact the existing pool fence structure, and if it were impacted, it will need to be fixed in accordance with the Township's fence bylaw. The building department also provided a reminder note stating that the accessory structure will not be able to contain habitable space and can only contain accessory uses permitted through the bylaw. The building department also noted that the township has no septic information on the record for the property, and a plan would need to be provided which showed the location of the existing septic to ensure that the proposed structure will not impact it. The applicant has provided this plan following that public hearing. And further to the building department's comments from that meeting, the applicant has provided a plan which shows the locations of the existing septic system and the well on the property in relation to the location of the proposed accessory structure. The building department reviewed the plan provided and are satisfied that the proposed accessory structure maintains sufficient separation from the existing septic system and have no further concerns. Planning staff are of the opinion that the requested variances meet the 4 tests for a minor variance as outlined. The first being that the variance is minor in nature. The zoning bylaw establishes specific provisions for setbacks and accessory buildings. And with the exception of being located between the street line and the established building line, the proposed accessory structure complies with all other applicable setback requirements and regulations contained in the bylaw and will not have adverse effects on adjacent properties. Therefore, staff view the proposed variance as minor in nature. That the variance is desirable and appropriate for the use of the land. The location of the proposed structure is primarily necessitated by the location of existing elements of the property, such as the existing dwelling and a septic system. The applicant submitted an additional plan to staff, illustrating the approximate locations of the existing septic system and well, confirming that adequate separation has been provided from the proposed structure to those site elements. Staff therefore have the opinion that the proposal is desirable and appropriate for the use of the land. The third is that the variance maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw. The requested variance supports a permitted accessory use on the property and aligns with the bylaw's intent for providing orderly development in a rural context. Additionally, with the exception of being located between the street line and the established building line, the proposed building complies with all other policies contained with this, provisions contained with this bylaw. Therefore, planning staff are of the opinion that the proposal follows the general intent and purpose of the bylaw. And finally, that the variance maintains the intent of the official plan. The property is designated prime agricultural and protected countryside in the township official plan. And section 2.6.11 of the official plan permits landowners within the protected countryside designation to obtain building permits for constructing an accessory building on an existing legal lot, provided it complies with all other township, regional, and TRC regulations. As an accessory building to an existing single detached dwelling on a legal lot, the proposed structure is permitted under this policy. And furthermore, this proposal will not undermine the core objective of protecting prime agricultural lands for the long term. Therefore, it's our opinion that this proposed variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. Based on the completed planning analysis, planning staff recommend that the minor variance application A0525 for 1019 Alps Road be approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Does the applicant or applicant's agent wish to speak? All right, do any members of the public wish to comment on this application? Do any committee members wish to comment on this application? All right, we can go to the motion, please, Scott Tilley.
Moved by myself, second by Derek Oster, that report number PD 40-2025 be received. And then minor variance application A-0525 being a request to permit a proposed accessory building to be located in the front principal dwelling within the established building line, whereas section 6.4.1 of the general zoning bylaw number 689-83 establishes the accessory buildings cannot be located with any building lines established by the bylaw. B, a proposed accessory building to be constructed between the street and line and the established building line, whereas section 6.5.1 of general zoning bylaw 689-83 establishes that no accessory building or structure be located or constructed between the street line and any building line established by this bylaw. And C, a reduced building line setback of 4.37 meters from the front lot line for the proposed accessory building, detached 3-bay garage, whereas section 6.10.1 of the general zoning bylaw 689-83 establishes that the building line setback be at minimum the distance between the street line and the closest point of the existing dwelling, which is in this case is 10.72 meters. Be approved.
All in favor? Motion's carried, thank you. Okay, can I have a motion please to adjourn again, Scott Tilley?
Moved by myself, second by Rod Merlin, that pursuant to the Planning Act, the public planning meeting at the Committee of Adjustment be adjourned at 6:33 p.m.
All in favor? Motion carried. Right, we're now to the first and second reading of the conformatory bylaw. Please, Councillor Awesome.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Tilley, that the following bylaws be read a first and second time, bylaw number 3571-25, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at this meeting held June 17th, 2025.
All in favor? Motion carried. Third and final reading of the conformatory bylaw, please, Council.
Myself, by Councillor Oster, that bylaw number 3571-25. Read a third and final time be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk.
All in favor? Motion carried. And then adjournment, please, Council Austin.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Wolman, that whereas business before this council planning public meeting has been completed at 6:35 PM. And we'll resolve that this meeting adjourned.
All in favor? Motion carried.